All right, so in April, just now, I think it was April 1st, I started to look at the videos again with respect to the perp coming in the door. Let's go through some of the information that I'm seeing right away. First of all, we got to consider that this person at the door could potentially be a woman. There are some camera angles. When you watch that start to finish, there is something crazy when you can see this person come closer to a light that's reflecting back onto the face. And I'm telling you, I think we have to consider that that person could be potentially a female. Okay, so just keep that in consideration. What Nancy continually shows me, there were only 2 people in the house. Okay, we know that one person's trying to come in the front door only to fuck with that camera. Okay, I'm telling you on a clairvoyant level, when I'm just looking at why the heck you're there, I know it's like it can be obvious, but that person is not concerned about being seen on that camera. They're very well covered. What they are trying to prevent is what is coming out of the front door. They don't want you seeing what's coming out the front door. So I know there are theories with the back door, but I'm telling you, they were always planning to come out the front door, period. And I'm not seeing anything different. They were always coming out the front door. Okay. And this is another great reason when you realize you have to also look at that front door and look at that video again. You know how there's an arch of brick? You're going to notice that the front door assailant goes back and forth to get that foliage to cover the camera. What is particular interest to me is there's one moment that that person's coming in through the arch, okay, and this is their head. Now, sure, you're going through a passageway. Yeah, maybe you have to duck a little with your head, right? Just a little. But you will see one part of that video where they have leveled themselves out practically. Okay, it's not just their head that's ducking a little. The whole body ducks, which changes perspective. If you had a camera that is still seeing that archway, that is one great time. If that assailant is right in that archway, you're going to get a pretty great proximity of how tall they truly are. Because anyone who's a photographer will tell you, you can line people up with distance from your camera, okay? Look at me, okay? But do you see my real size? There's a certain, okay, when that person, I was analyzing that the other night clairvoyantly. And what they showed me is that front door assailant distinctly has been doing time. That person has done time. That's the message. And I know people speculate that maybe this was a burglary gone wrong and Okay. You sometimes have to trust the collective consciousness. Maybe all of the people tuning into this aren't psychics. We're not all, you guys aren't all psychics, but listen to the collective consciousness. Why all of a sudden is burglary considered? Well, come on, there is a break-in and the guy looks like he's a burglar. So that's obvious just on visual. But what if you guys are picking up, not that it was a burglary, it's burglary, but what if you're kind of picking up that energy that it is a burglar by trade who's trying to move up in his crime repertoire? Because sooner or later, if you're in a life of crime, sometimes you are staying in that life of crime. Sometimes that's it. Okay, so my clairvoyant hit on that front door person, possibly female, possibly male, did time, was a burglar, and I feel very proficient as a burglar, but still got caught. And the reason I'm saying this person, he or she, was definitely purposely dropping through that archway. They were not going to hit that archway. They were dropping through the archway because their height, you know, in the US of A, you know this for sure. I've been in the USA, I'm from Canada, and I know even in New York, remember the old New Yorker days where crime was crime and crime and crime on crime on crime, and everybody was hitting gas stations and corner stores. What started to happen? People put the measuring tape on the inside of the establishment, so when people are robbing you and running out, you're seeing a close proximity of their height against comparison to that measuring tape. So that's how clairvoyantly that came forward all of a sudden on the edge of those brick walls as he was walking through there all of a sudden. And this is where I will never get bored of my life calling, because you would think that 30 years into doing this, it gets boring. It never gets boring. And you know what? I advocate for mediumship, especially being used to solve murders and cases, because if you truly find someone that's really tuned in, you can save so much time. So that person has done time, caught you, and I believe, I would love to know in the future when this is solved if that's very true. Okay, so person A, let's call person at the door camera person A, because that's who has appeared. Now, going back to what Nancy shows me, now we're in April. I've been getting this information since April 1st. Okay. She continually shows me two people in the front, in the house. Okay. We know there's only one person at the door. I know they want to come out the front door. So, and when you really look at that front door, God's honest truth, like there's a steel encasing there, right? Like we have that in Quebec, has that a lot. A lot of stores will have metal, right? So if you guys have noticed that, that's quite a door. And again, they're only carrying. You never see that person try to open the door. Have you noticed that? So pay attention to that. At least on the camera, the attention is the camera. It's not, I'm going to break in the door. They're not breaking in that door. It's that camera can't see us coming out the door, and they definitely can't see. I swear to God, what I keep getting in the guy at the girl or the guy at the front, I swear to God, it's almost like, even though he's done the time and doesn't want his height to be known, I think a little measuring tape caught his height on a robbery one time, and that was that. Okay, so what I keep seeing in his head when he's thinking about the second person that he knows is coming to the house, and they might have, you know what, they could have, I don't know if anybody's also considered this, because I know two people are in the house, and now that I'm seeing this over and over and over and over and over and over again, I'm trying to keep asking all spirits for more details on this. Okay, so we know the timing. You guys know the timing, right? Roughly two, we're between 140 something and 147 or something, all the way to 231 is in question. And we know the perpetrators are in the house at that time. And I do agree that what I'm seeing is brief. Okay, so let's go back to just what I keep getting on this. The front person's, person A keeps having this in their consciousness, that even though they're the one going up to the camera and doing the, block the camera routine and taking the chance of being on camera while they're blocking the camera, okay, and they don't want to be caught, they've done the crime, so they don't want to be caught, but that person, as I'm seeing it, is more concerned with the second person, okay, that is coming in the back door. He or she is more concerned about that second person really being seen. Okay, so out of the two of them, when they're like, well, who's going to go to the camera? Do you want to do it? Should I do it? Call me crazy. There's a worse risk for person number two to be seen. Okay, just simple as that. That's that. So makes you wonder, well, I'm sorry, it's certainly making me wonder when they're showing me that. It actually makes me wonder if that person, the second person, actually knows the family, would be recognizable. That makes me wonder, not only are they recognizable by police, because these are criminals, okay, consider that, that's what I'm considering. They certainly don't want to be recognized by police anyway, even if that guy hasn't done time. And in fact, that's my information. One of them has done time, but the people that are involved in this, all of them have been around crime. All of them, okay? But only one has done time. That's clairvoyant information that I keep getting. So, okay, going back to the second person, and again, it's like, I always think this is going to be a 5-minute video. Okay, this is what I really know. The first couple of times Nancy came to me, I know darn well the two people are there. And I'm going to be honest. Even though you know from what Samana says on air, she makes a statement that, her mom really is taken out of her bed. Now, honestly, the FBI could be telling her to say that because whatever's happening in the house, police are allowed to lie. And they sometimes ask their victims to support that because, especially if there's too much information that could be absolute bullshit, you want to decipher bullshit from reality very freaking quickly in investigations that are this high power, of course, too, right? So yes, she states that her mother's have been taken from her bed. I'm going to be very freaking honest. I'm not seeing anything in the bedroom. I'm not saying that it's neither here nor there. I just want to be very honest. That's not where I'm getting my images. What Nancy keeps giving me, and I got to say, I'm almost like a little like, every time I see it, I'm like, oh my God. Like there's an expression where the fly on the wall, we use that expression a lot. And I'm going to say, like, there's one thing that she keeps showing me and my spirit now that, we can also go back in time when someone's had trauma, right? And we can still be with them in that time. And I flippin' do know that when I'm seeing this one thing, I'm actually there. I'm in the freaking hallway. And she keeps telling me that these people are in the kitchen. Okay? These people are in the kitchen. And she keeps hearing them discuss logistics. That's what she's seeing. And when I'm in the houses, if I'm doing the remote viewing, swear to God, like when I'm looking at her, what I see, what she's showing me is what I think has happened. Okay, this is, maybe I'm surmising this. I'm gonna switch to, this is now me saying a maybe. This is not a vision. This is not mediumship information. This is me trying to fit in pieces. So I want you to know that in here, it's thinking it out again for just a second, because this is what I have seen. I have seen her on a couch. And my impression when I'm in this room, when I'm in her home spiritually here, and I'm looking in the home, what I am seeing, I'm seeing her straight ahead of me, as if I'm in some kind of hallway, but I can still see the couch. And the couch, now we're reversed because of this, okay? So, how do I describe this when we're reversed? I'll just not use my hands. She's in front of me, and when I'm looking at her, I'm seeing her face this way on her couch. And when I'm seeing her on her couch, she is sitting there. I know she is groggy. She is groggy. Okay, like she almost feels like, okay, like there, and what she's showing me is, and telling me is, when she hears them in the kitchen, the two people, are on comms. That is the expression. Okay, now you have to know something. Somebody put a question or put a comment when I said that on the video, and respect for respect. I'm not trying to single anyone out, but I just wanted to say that, again, trying to explain this stuff. The person asked or said in the comment, seems strange wording for Nancy. What I can assure you, no one knows better than the victim present. And I will not change any word or description or sentence that the deceased give me. Nancy told me those people are on comms. Conjure up what you want with that. Okay, and again, I can say a million things. I'm going to just stick to the images. I want to keep getting through this. Okay, so they are on comms. Now, even since that second video, I want to confirm that I am adding information. This is absolutely additional to anything that has come in the other videos. As I'm explaining, the more you tune into something, the more information that will filter in. And you better, you know, it's going to come in any way. And I have just learned, you just pick those pieces up, okay? So this is, again, what I want to start tuning into on the perpetrators. Now, when I'm tuning in to the kitchen, where she is telling me that there are two people in the kitchen and they are on comms, what's really important to remember about that as well, as I'm looking into it, and I guess this is the first time I might be mentioning it. Okay, what's very important is now we have person number 3. Okay, when people are trying to figure out how many people are really involved in this, I'm only going to be confirming how many I really think it is if someone's truly showing me the vision that there's somebody still there. Okay, so, but I'm still saying 1 person at the front door, 2 people in the house. 3rd person is talking over these comms, and the logistics of how this is going to go now that they have her are being discussed. Okay, so now I'm tuning in clairvoyantly to 3rd perpetrator, distinctly male, no mistake. Has never been jailed. Highly intelligent. And I kept getting information on him over the last 3 days. And it does come in these little spurts, right? It's almost like you have a beacon light when you're, you know, looking at a lighthouse, right? And you know that's like boom, boom, with that light coming at you. That's exactly how slow it can be when you're waiting for information, okay? So, but every time I tune into that dude, every time, and I don't know what this means, but I'm going to give you the vision. I see him up a telephone pole. Why would he be up a telephone pole? And then I'm like, wait a second, is that a hydro pole or is that a telephone pole? Is that a hydro pole or is that a telephone pole? And I mean it. They keep giving me this like image of him and he's up a pole. Okay, so going up a pole, you guys know what that's like. Is this communications? Is he in comms? Is he in communications? I see him when he's got the comms talking to the 2 people in the kitchen. He's got one of these things. For his comms. And you know how smart he is? He has never been around the body. He was not in the house. He's never even been seen. Everything that he's done, it's through just communicating. Just give the information. Just communicate, coordinate. I'm not touching the body. I'm not moving it, and I'm not the driver. Okay, so he's somehow like, what's the, and again, I'm just leaving it at that. It could, but I'm kind of going, is that columns? But I'm seeing telephone pole or hydro pole. This guy goes up poles. He's talking on interesting communication things. It's like I used to have that really cool thing where I used to do my phone readings. Freaking loved it. It's just a little mouthpiece. That's what it reminds me of. The guy's on something like this, intelligent. I feel good looking person. I feel like he is somehow in like I wouldn't necessarily say corporate setting, but he would be presenting himself to perhaps, how would I say? Well, probably the company this person, I feel this person is employed by a company, by the way. They may be like the other people might be strictly criminal. They don't have day jobs. Well, actually, wait. I'm going to take that back. I'm going to just say that they still make a living with crime. That's the way I want to phrase that. The two people in the house make a living with crime, even if they have day jobs. I'm going to say that. Okay, well, I guess that's true of all of them, for freak's sake. So anyway, but the third guy, I still have to say, there's something where whatever his real job is, like he even dresses pretty good for it. But why is he up a pole? But God, he knows, just, I'm going to have to leave that. Every time I tune into him, that's what I'm seeing. So you tell me, I'm going to leave it at that. I don't want to go into it more yet. That's that for now. I'm going to keep that clean. Okay, so moving along. What else have I discovered? Okay, this is the consideration when people are trying to figure out, did they really go in the back door? Because everybody knows now that they're releasing that the house looked immaculate. And the back door was propped open by flower pots. Okay, I know for a fact the front door dude is a burglar. Okay, front door is metal. They only want to come out it. They know they're not breaking in it. They know it. Like he's already been there, remember? Okay, so they've already distinguished this plan over and over. Okay, so they're burglars, which now makes me kind of go, duh, they have to come in the back door. They can't get in the front, period. But what burglar is scared off by a regular back door? If you've seen those on video, those are regular doors. If these are pro burglars, they got to know how to jimmy locks pretty freaking quick. So let's go back to the pack. And let's, just say for a second that we know Nancy's saying they're on comms. And from police reporting, they keep knocking out all the digital in the home. It's gone. Knock it out, it's gone. So there's no way they are bringing their own cell phones to this kidnapping. They are on comms, which of course could mean walkie-talkies. Okay, now here's the thing. I know for a fact through clairvoyant information here, third guy has never touched the body. Those are the clues. He's never been at the house. You'll never see him on video on anybody's cameras. He's never been around this house. Okay. So the two people in the house, their job, I can assure you what keeps being played over and over and over in my head, for things in that house. The role for the two people in the house was to break in, retain. That's it. Break in, retainer. Wait on the comms for the coordination of person number 3, who is dispatching the driver. Person number 2 is not the driver. Person number 1 is not the driver. Person number 1 and person number 2, it is their responsibility to sedate. She's sedated, folks. And she's been sedated by a syringe. And now I understand the puncture mark on her left hand. This is how smart they are. They need this to be precision. I have to say, I feel that these people have mastered time. Okay, they have somehow gotten away with a lot of crimes because they know timing. Okay, they are very freaking good. You've seen that front door person, how methodically smooth they are at the front door. There is no panic. There is no first time jitters. First time jitters, that little mouth thing, the light would have been on the ground. That's jitters. Sorry. Just true though. Okay, so can't lose my train of thought. Okay. Third person is the coordinator and communicator and the ringleader. When you're looking for who started this, who can really plan this, who can get the right people to orchestrate this, third person's the ringleader. Let's talk about the driver. Okay, because this is why I haven't seen who the driver is, but I'm going to just tell you about the mission. I see the mission. I see how that's mapped out. Okay, the two people in the home, continually, the only thing I see, they really were just responsible again for sedating her, restraining her, holding her until it's move her. Okay, now, I do not believe she was fully drugged to an unconscious state. When I'm having that vision of her on the couch, it's like, oh, I'm sorry, these are the little things in mediumship that do freak me out because I really see her in there. And I just know from even her facial, she has sedative, okay? They don't want her to be dead weight, but they don't want her fighting, okay? Yet, this is what I'm seeing about the syringe, okay? Nancy really does show me a syringe. There's a syringe. All of a sudden, what I'm sensing is she didn't know anything was going on at all. I wonder, like, from just that, it makes me wonder, she really could have been in bed and really dead asleep because she has no indication. And then all of a sudden, what I see, and yeah, it's kind of sad because that coloring that the person's wearing, it's not quite black. And even there, she can see that it's kind of like, it's almost shiny. There's something almost shiny to that material that the person is wearing. So all of a sudden, I'm just getting in my visual here where what I believe is in the knapsack, by the way, is equipment to get in the back door. Because there's more than one door. And if they've already scouted this area, they got to be prepared. So, and they're burglars. Please believe me, they're burglars. So they've got some sort of burglary kit that gets you in the door. And I don't think it was smashed up. I think these guys are pretty freaking good. Like it's in that part, I got to give it, like, not freaking giving you credit, but from an investigator point, they're pretty freaking clean on the way they break in. That's what I really see. Okay. So think about that backpack. It was like full to the brim. You got burglary equipment in there. You've got comms devices that you have to use inside the house. You're not going on any form of phone. And I know people think it's a burner phone, but I'm telling you, if you really look at people in investigation that can tell you about burner phones, there's still ways to crack them. I'm telling you that right now. So, and these guys are used to crime. So I don't know. I think they're up on some of the technology. So I'm going to say that walkie-talkie, not burner phone. There's no way. There's no way. They don't want phones anywhere. Okay. It's clean channel. They know how to do this. It's a clean communication channel. And remember, oh shoot. Hold on. Oh, shoot. Okay, I know this is gonna, God, I always think it's a 5-minute video. Isn't this crazy? Okay, so let me just finish this up because I want to, again, okay, so what else is in that backpack? There's a syringe and whatever medication, drug they've decided to sedate and immobilize. They don't want her fully unconscious for whatever crazy reason, but it's sedative at least so that she, well, God love her, she couldn't have been able to, but okay, all of a sudden I'm just going back to that vision because, okay, so I'm seeing it again and I'm seeing this arm all of a sudden. I really believe what was happening here, and fuckers are just freaking devious. I'm not going to call you smart. You're freaking devious, because what I really believe happened, she very well could have been very asleep, and all of a sudden someone's grabbing her forearm. Can you imagine? All of a sudden someone's grabbing your forearm and they're coming at you with a syringe. Guess what you're going to do? You might be 84. You might be really sore. But your first instinct immediately, and that is how I believe she punctured her hand. And police will never release 100% of the information that happened inside that home. And even though police just released, by the way, in the first week of April, that the house was immaculate, I think you need to ask Savannah and the family, because their reports was that there was a disturbance. Now, let's think about whether or not she truly was sedated. Think of that as true information. Is it true? Could it fit? Because you have to admit, from the early stages of everyone watching this case, they're worried about, oh my God, what are these idiots doing? She's got medication that she relies on for her life. She could be dead from not having that medication. You guys have sorely overlooked that. And honestly, you can't be that close in inner circles to the family. Inner circles to the family would know that about someone that is constantly going through this, okay? So, right? If a person has an eye issue, you're going to know it forever, okay? Whatever it is, you know that. So these perps didn't know she needed her meds. Then you have to go and go, all right, if I see that she sees they're going to be taking her out of there, and that's where she could potentially be dying. Oh my God, I'm dying out of my own home now. Well, then, and I see that she was groggy on the couch. I do believe she was sedated. I do feel that what they did was they bound her hands, they bound her ankles, and they let her sit on the couch. They brought her out of bed. If that's where they first attacked her, I would be asking inside the family, is there truly blood right there in the bed or on the sheets? Because wherever they tried to stick her with a syringe, her hand was punctured. So you've got to see blood around that spot. So, but I only see that arm coming for her forearm. I don't see where she is. I'm just saying maybe she is in bed, okay? I just see that syringe was trying to get her, and that's what's punctured her left hand. Okay, now, what else? Just looking at that. Okay, and then wherever they tried to inject her, then they just moved her to the couch, and seriously, she's just sitting on the couch waiting on these comms and logistics to be discussed. Okay, and then, okay, this is why that's why I'm gone through this again. And full circle in my head again, what they're still showing is, I believe what they've had to do for just an easy way to get her out of the house, it makes me believe what I'm seeing is, I feel that they wrapped her somehow. Okay, so whatever she was wearing, I don't feel anything was changed. But to get her from where she is on the couch, which I believe has to be close to, the kitchen, because she can hear them in the kitchen. She can hear them. Okay, so And I feel like that's like towards either the back or the side of the house anyway. Like both of those things are either the back or the side, because I keep feeling like you got to come still down quite a way through either an entrance or hallway to get to the front door. Okay, there's still a lot of space in there. Oh, and I don't know why, but she always keeps showing me. It makes me wonder if the kitchen is like, you know how some people have a rectangular kitchen, but then other people kind of have a square room. For some reason, she keeps showing me this square room, like as if one of the rooms they are talking in, and out of all the rooms in her house, if police wanted to go and get DNA, I would be scouring that kitchen. I would be scouring the kitchen because that's where they spent their longest time. Okay, but yeah, I just keep seeing the square for some reason. I don't know why, but it's almost like she's trying to describe the shape of the room that they were in for some reason, or if that has any value, I'm not sure. But those two people in the house, they were just responsible for sedating, securing, moving. Okay, think of it that way. Sedate, secure, move. That was their role. The driver is different. I have no information on the driver other than I distinctly see that this car is not in the neighborhood. Okay, they have to dispatch the car, and that's what they're waiting for. Okay, and honestly, if they were in and out of there in less than 45 minutes, I'm telling you, keep that in consideration, because they are kind of amateurs going pro, but there are some pro elements to how they've thought this out. Okay, it's so driver, I don't have information other than not in the neighborhood, dispatched by the third person on comms to come to the location. And I swear to God, they are putting her in the back. So whoever this person is driving, and I'm not even getting a read on the vehicle, so please don't ask yet. And if I get it, I get it. But what the image I'm getting is they have to back in. Wherever they're doing this, however they pull in, that car is being backed up so that they can get her in easily. I believe she's wrapped, so body parts aren't doing this. And it really is easier to carry someone if they're not doing this. And I cannot explain how smooth this is. So I can't tell you how smooth this operation was. So, and the last item that I'm going to speak